And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Mark Haye in the house, 21st Century Financial. We're going to talk about, of course, the bond market, what's happening with your retirement plans. We also have Gregg and Steven coming in as well, Fast of Florida, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. We're going to talk with them about their business as well. Also, top 10 musical artists from Florida. So we've been on this top 10 kick. It's sometimes kind of fun to talk about the different celebrities in Tampa or Florida and musicians. We're going to do also 9 most expensive homes in Florida. That's going to be on tomorrow's show, I believe. We're going to get that one in there as well. And always helping you win in any marketplace. That's kind of our mantra around here, helping you as a consumer advocate, helping you on your real estate, mortgage, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, financial advice, all different types of great business owners, attorneys, CPAs. We get into aviation with Captain Will Smith. We get into the auto industry as well. Lots of different ways we help you here. And, of course, all of your blue-collar, muscular class companies we talk about as well. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying and selling and investing, or refinancing. We would love to help you. You know, it might be time to get that refinance looked at. Get on our VIP watch list where we can kind of monitor where you're at on your rates and see if it makes sense to do a refinance right now. Maybe it does. You know, if you're eliminating private mortgage insurance, maybe you're paying off some debt. Lots of ways we can help you. Save the hotline number because it's up to you to call us, 813-917-1894. Call or text that show hotline, 813-917-1894. We got some of our audience reaching out as well. Questions coming in for Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. We're going to talk with him here in just a moment. Before we do, major price improvement on one of our $1 million listings. This one's 221 Howard Drive. This one's in Bel Air, Florida, beautiful Bel Air Beach, Florida. This is listed now under $3 million, so we should be getting a lot of activity. We have open houses going on, waterfront right on the Gulf of America, or access to the Gulf of America. You're on a canal there, saltwater pool. You have access to the Gulf. Bring your boats, bring your jet skis. 3-island kitchen, gorgeous 3-island kitchen, Thermador appliances, saltwater pool. Great opportunity at 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. Beautiful listing of Aaron on our team. 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard, another $1 million listing. Well, just shy of $1 million to get you in the 900s here. This one's a great estate-style home over in Clermont, Florida. And we do have a large audience here with the show, and our reach for our real estate teams expands all the way up north of to Gainesville, south to Venice and Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda. We've got listings all over the counties in between there, out to Orlando as well. Magnolia Island Boulevard in Clermont. 5 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, have a 2-car garage, 3121 square feet, 1 acre of land. And this is a gorgeous Cape Cod inspired type home, beautiful property here. You have a large screened-in pool, spa package in the back, beautiful pavers as well. And this is on an island. This is a really cool opportunity to own an exclusive neighborhood. This is a rare gem at an excellent price. 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard, Clermont, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings. And you can also submit a website, an email through our website as well, consumerqb.com. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Only in America. All right, got to remind you as well, Thursday, April 21st, 5:30. What are we going to be doing over there, Dave? We got a mixer at the ballpark, don't we?
Yes, we do. It's going to be one of the better ones we've actually had in a long time. Well,
yeah,
Tarp and Turtle, all the good things out there over the Thresher Stadium. That's going to be Thursday, April 24th, 5:30 p.m. till 9. But it is $35 to get into this one, but you're actually getting the full baseball game as well. All the food and appetizers are going to be covered by the MVP team, of course. The networking is going to be definitely off the hook. I mean, we have 5 different Chamber of Commerceers that are going to be there, as well as all your show guests. and contributors. So it's going to be a great time to get some networking on and have some good fun with us.
Yeah, come on out, join us. There's going to be food and drinks provided with that $35 entry fee to the game. And come out and support the local team, local economy. That's one of the themes also, Mark, of this show is supporting the local economy by supporting all of our expert contributors. So, we really like to do that. And it's so nice, too, to see these folks come show up to the events, Dave. We have people showing up to the games or showing up to the networking events and mixers and just bringing different questions, different scenarios that come up. So welcome back to the show, man.
It's good to see you.
Yeah,
Very
man.
good to see you.
Likewise. Yes, sir.
I like your hat.
Thanks,
Gulf
buddy.
America.
Gulf of America. That's right. Can you believe we're already through Q1? I mean, here we are sitting in Q2, and
wow, what a fun Q1! I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
a lot going on.
Sure,
a lot of good things too. A lot of positives.
Yeah,
I know the media doesn't like to say a lot of positive, but it has been a lot of positives.
It's so funny. Just whichever channel you're watching, it's like a different painting. Remember old Bob Ross? Let's put a little here, a little there. If you flip over to whatever channel, they're going to be all negative, doom and gloom. You flip over to the other one, he's going to be painting a completely different picture.
Yep, I agree with that. So, but no, I was very pleased with Q1. So we'll see how it goes Q2 now.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's going to be a gangbusters towards the end of the year. Like a little short-term pain like we talked about with the tariffs and things of that nature. But it was really interesting to see how this played out because the 90-day pause, you know what that was about, right? I mean, I know you do.
It jacked the market back up, which was nice, and it brought everybody to the table.
It did.
It was like 50-some countries came to the table now.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
A lot of countries.
And then China's outside looking in going, maybe we should get in on this thing.
Maybe we should, because here's what they tried to do. Let me just get to this. I like to roll tape from time to time. So this is what they tried to do.
And a disturbing spike in bond activity, which China was playing their nuclear card, which is what set President Trump off so much. One of the reasons why President Trump said China is not exempt and we're going to unite the entire world against China is China was intentionally trying to create a run on American bonds.
Okay, I'll pause it there. It's a long clip, but can you explain what that means? And
basically, China owns a lot of our debt.
Yes.
And if interest rates go up, like they have, right, so does the interest on some debt. Now, what people think that's happening is Trump is trying to do these things, make the market come down, make the interest rates come down, refinance the debt, which China doesn't get as much anymore as on their interest.
Right.
And then as far as bonds go, interest rates go up, bonds go down. So we need interest rates to come down so bonds go up, which is essentially what he's trying to do. So China, they thought they held the cards in their hands, and I love that Trump called them bluff and just raised the tariff on them even more for doing that. And I think at the end of the day, China's going to have to come to the table and going to have to renegotiate these tariffs. It's going to have to happen. Otherwise, we just won't use China. We'll just use everybody else, and China can be left out. Yeah, I mean, they're going to come to the table.
Yeah.
It's just everybody needs to be patient and not panic. Because
that's right.
This has to happen.
No paniacs.
Right. And if you look at what we're paying in tariffs for China, versus what they're giving us, it's far lopsided on China's side.
Big time.
And so this has to happen. And thank the Lord we have somebody in office that's actually doing this.
Yes.
And if you look at the politicians, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, it could be Obama, could be Bush, could be Biden. Everybody talked about tariffs in China and raising tariffs. Even Pelosi's even talked about it. If you look at, just we never had anybody actually go and do it.
Yeah.
And so it's refreshing to see somebody do it. And for those that are just kind of freaking out, just be patient.
It really is. And you know what they want? They like our pork bellies.
That's right.
They love pork bellies, boy. They want them pork bellies. They want that good food. They want our farmer. That's why they're buying our farmland. And a lot of the states said, no, you're not buying any more of our farmland, brother. You're going to stay over there in Asia.
Well, China obviously is a big player. We need them. We need to come to some kind of agreement. But we're getting ripped off. Yeah. And it's been happening for way too long.
And we got to make it painful for them, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because they have huge unemployment. Their unemployment numbers are going to be going up big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing that does scare me a little bit is, our dependency on some of the pharmaceuticals. And what really made sense when I was watching one of the CNBC shows, I like to see some of the interviews. Peter Navarro's on there from time to time, and he's got some good things to say. But they were talking about some of the generic some of the generic penicillins and amoxicillins, the different types of drugs. So what happens is the margins are so thin on those. The fear is that those companies will just say, hey, we're out of this business. We're not going to do it anymore. But all the more reason to bring it back onshore, baby. Bring it back to America.
Right, exactly. So I like it. It's just a little painful. You got growing pains, but in the long run, I think America's going to be better off.
Yeah, and we do have some call-ins. No, just because we don't play the call-ins on the air, we take the calls. We're taking calls during the show. We're taking calls all the time. So we do have call-ins coming in, and we had some good ones here from Mark. This is from Sarah in Largo. Is a 401k the best way to save for retirement?
I mean, that's an excellent question. I mean, obviously everybody's taught 401k when they got rid of the pension plans back in the 70s.
Yeah.
But let's just go through pros and cons of 401k, and they can decide.
Yeah.
So what's the pros? Pros being, tax deferred growth, compounding interest. You could participate in the market, via mutual funds that are offered in bonds that are offered through the company. You may get a match, if employers will match. So some employers will actually just put into the 401k plan without you putting anything into it. So it's essentially free money.
That's a bonus there.
Those are pros. What's the con? It's not very liquid. If you want to take the money out before 59.5, it's 10% penalty and taxes. It doesn't generate cash flow today. You have to wait, 30, 40 years for your money to actually use it. And I always like to keep money as liquid as possible so that when opportunities come, you have the money accessible to go do that opportunity.
Yeah.
Where a lot of times, if all you do is put your money inside of a 401k and pay off your mortgage, you don't have any liquidity. And so that missed opportunities along the way it can cause, a lot of problems as far as wealth.
Or the car breaks down.
Yeah, you got it.
Something.
Now we go into retirement, we know that there's a less than 5% chance that 401k is even going to work, in retirement. So to answer your question, it's a tool. It's a tool to use for retirement, but I would not hang my hat solely on a 401k and say this is going to be our retirement plan.
Right.
But I would use it. So if they match you 3%, put in 3%. Get the match. Maybe now we make another bucket of money for retirement that gives you cash flow today and not waiting 30 years from now. And another thing about these government plans, whether it's a 401k or an IRA, there's so many rules that the government puts on these plans, and they can change it.
Right.
If how much can you contribute a year? Some years it's more than others. Like this year, you can put in $23,500 if you're under 50. If you're over, you can put in 30. So that changes. Tax rates changes. When you go to spend the money 20, 30, 40 years from now, whenever that may be, we don't know what the taxes are going to be. If we look at history, taxes got as high as over 90% for the top income earners at one point, which is insane. Not to say that's going to happen again.
Wow.
But if you look at history, that's how high they did get. So if you essentially are putting into this plan and 20, 30 years from now, you go to retire and the tax break is 50%.
Yeah.
That means every dollar you pull out, 50% goes to the government. So that's just less money for you.
Yeah.
And so it's a tool to use, but don't be used by it.
Right.
Is what I would say.
Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. I'm Brandon BRimes. ConsumerQB.com is the website. You can submit an email form there at ConsumerQB.com. Call the hotline, too. And we got another question here from Charles in Treasure Island. Before we do, quick shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, and a very friendly wait staff. Say hello to Chef Oscar Ramirez. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and he'll hook you up with a free water with lemon every time he'll hook it up. Free. Okay, so from Charles in Treasure Island, how do I set up my kids to be financially free?
Oh, that's another excellent question. So, obviously, we talk about too families that talk about money. If you sit down with your family and have dinner, and the parents that talk to their kids about money and banking and finance and investing and businesses are far better off later in life than people that don't.
Right.
I grew up in a household, and a lot of people have, where money is kind of like you don't talk about it. You don't talk about grandma's money, or you don't ever talk about finances. But the families that are open, that talk about it, like Dad's talking about saving his 401k, getting the match. Dad's talking about life insurance. Dad's talking about the brokerage account. Dad's talking about the rental property with my mom, and that stuff. Once you start talking and kids hear it, then they learn. That's just learning. Yeah. My big thing is when I was a kid, my father put a $25,000 whole life policy on me the day I was born.
Wow.
Okay, and I still have that policy, but I wish it was $1 million policy.
Oh,
you know, because as you're a kid, and now here I am, 44 years old. If I had that policy 44 years later, there'd be so much cash available in there.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously he did what he could do at the time, and that's what he could afford, and God bless him. I'm very thankful for that. You know,
man.
But if every kid was born and was given a cash value life insurance policy by their grandparents or their mom or dad, whatever,
sure,
that's such a huge advantage moving forward, because that money's liquid. They could use it for college, use it to buy a home, use it to start a business. It comes with permanent life insurance, which a lot of times health changes and you can't even qualify for it anymore, and you get long-term care. There's so many benefits that you get, and I always just say, like, man, it's just for pennies on the dollar, you could do all this cool stuff for a kid, grandkid. But another way you can do it is, if you're a business owner, pay your kids tax-free. And this year you can pay them up to $15,000. You know, so if you have two kids, you can take $30,000 from the business as a deduction. I might add.
Wow.
You put it into a bank account or a cash value account or a Roth or whatever you want to do for the kids, and now they get all that money tax free. So you essentially get to deduct it from the business, give it to them tax-free. You're still the owner of the money. You just switched bank accounts.
Yeah.
And you got a deduction to do that. And if you did that every single year for 15, 18 years, that's a lot of money.
Hey,
and if you invest it, compound it, let it grow, I mean, that's massive head start. And you get a deduction to do this. Yeah. You still get the money.
Because you're going to pay for it either way.
Yeah,
you might as well be smart about it. You're going to spend money on your kids.
Yes.
Whether it's a wedding later, the car, or down payment on a house.
Right.
You're going to be spending money, so why not pull it out the way Mark described?
Absolutely. And you're still the owner. The kid's the beneficiary of that, for the benefit of. And then you're going to say, well, my kid's 7, my kid's 8. Well, how am I going to pay him? Well, they clean the office, clean the car, help set up. They on Instagram, they're modeling on Instagram, they're showing their marketing, advertisement. You could pay each kid $2,500 per Instagram post as a modeling fee.
I love it.
You could get to $15,000. I'm just saying, take advantage of that, because that's such an advantage for both for the business owner, the mom, the dad, and the kid to transfer money and use the tax code.
The tax code, absolutely. More with Mark Haye coming up. 21st Century Financial. You got to take advantage of the tax code. The millionaires do. The billionaires do. Largest corporations in the world do. So, hey, coming up, best musical artist from Florida. Who's from Florida that you know? I mean, there's some pretty cool people, some bands on this list. Coming up, more with Mark Haye, also 21st Century Financial. We got a feel-good story of the day coming up later. Also, free service that finds lost pets. Already united 40,000 animals using QR codes. Network of 1 million people coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. Did you know that we buy houses cash? We will close quickly and give you a fair offer on your home or residential properties, even commercial properties, and we will give you a fair cash offer, close quickly, and be diligent when you're shopping these types of scenarios, because a lot of the wholesalers, the flippers out there, they will sign you up on an as-is contract, and they will shop that contract and try to find a buyer, but they may not find the buyer, and they won't close. So this is Brandon Rhymes, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Brandon Rhymes, we buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. That is my direct cell. You can call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, in studio here, Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. We're talking about tips and taking your calls to the hotline. So reach out. We're taking calls. We got one coming up from Dale in Lakeland here in just a moment. Before we do, we like to feature our listings on air. It helps our sellers sell faster for more money. My wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay. So if you're buying, selling, investing, we would love to talk to you, maybe refinancing. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to talk to you online at consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form there, and that form will come directly through to me. We'll make sure we get right back to you with any of your questions or comments or scenarios that you want to run by us. We got some land for sale here, 5274 Miller Bayou Drive, Port Richey, Florida, Pasco County. We got a 1/4-acre lot right on the waterfront here. Bring your boat and jet skis. Great opportunity to buy and build. Buy some dirt, build a beautiful home. 5274 Miller Bayou Drive, Port Richey, Florida. Beautiful property right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive. We got another hot listing here. Single family home. This one's 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage. Beautiful pool in the backyard that is screened in. Fireplace, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, stainless steel appliances. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs, Florida. Another one of our beautiful real estate listings. We got about 50 current listings. So if you're buying or selling, investing out there, we'd love to talk to you. And you can see all of our real estate listings. Platinum MVP Team.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Mark Haye's in the house, and Mark, something that everybody should do is get a review done. If you haven't got a review, we just went through Q1. Here we are in 2025. Get a review. Let Mark take a look at what you've been investing in, what's going on in the past, and you can look back and see that. Also, take a look at the taxes sometimes. You can look back at people's taxes, too, and also Dwayne Bischoff, CPA of Tampa Bay. You take a look at that, and sometimes you find money in those tax returns as well.
Well, there's a lot of money in the tax code. That's why these millionaires and billionaires pay a ton of money for an accounting team and lawyers and legal advice for the tax code. Yeah. Because there's so much in there that people don't even realize. Like, for example, you could take a write-off for gambling losses. There's a cap on it. I mean, if you just Google, can I write this off? There's so much in there that it's just insane that you can get it. But anyways, they spend a ton of money on these teams to take advantage of the tax code.
And if you file an extension, I heard you go to the back of the line as far as audits go.
Yeah, so you reduce your chance of being audited every time you file an extension. So if you hurry up and run and get your taxes done, you're at the top of the pile. They can just pull, and then they audit. Yeah. If you put it in an extension, you go back to the bottom of the pile. Then they start doing everybody's tax returns they got. Come October, here you come, and they get it done. Now all of a sudden it's 2025 tax years coming up, and then they move on to that. So it's a very, very low risk of audit by just filing an extension. And I always tell people, especially business owners, just file an extension because you just need more time to make sure you got everything lined up. Deductions, you didn't forget this, you got that, so there's a lot to it, and that's why you need a team.
All right, let's squeeze one more question, and this is from Dale in Lakeland. He actually submitted the email form at consumerqb.com. He says, Mark, what are my fees in my 401k?
Well, that's an excellent question. Everything has a fee. Your bank account has a fee, the 401k has a fee, IRA fees, but it's what do you get for that fee? So a 401k is expensive because it's a big, giant group plan, and so the cost is more money than an individual. Okay. So between 2 or 3% you're looking at for a 401k, but the problem is because it's compounding interest, right? So does the fee, and people don't realize that fee gets to be a very expensive over a 30-year period, and sometimes it could be eating up $500,000 of your money over a 30-year period. Wow. You go to an IRA, you're looking between 1.5%. You go to a self-directed, you're probably less than 1%. Yeah. Cash value, you're looking at 1% fee, but what do you get? You get permanent death benefit, long-term care, a pension, tax-free. So what do you get? Yeah. Is really what you want to look at.
Right. What's the trade-off there?
What's the trade-off? So, but excellent questions. I appreciate it, and we'll have to do more of those.
We'll do more next time. Get a review from Mark Haye. Reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text that show hotline, 917-1894. Submit the email form at consumerqb.com. Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial, thanks for coming in. Coming up, we got Greg and Steven from Fast of Florida. We're going to talk about your HVAC system, electrical, plumbing, and more coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, serving as your consumer advocate, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. We always like to help you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, investing, refinancing. We would love to talk to you and be part of our radio family here. We've helped several of our listening audience folks, with selling their properties on the buy side. We've done some refinances for them. So it really makes our day when you come out to the events. We got our event coming up on April 24th. That's going to be over at the Coachman Field. The baseball game, the 5-chamber mega mixer, we're going to be out there as well. So come on out and join us for that Clearwater Threshers game. And, it really makes our day when we're able to help you with your real estate, buying, selling, investing. 9594 Maricamp Road, Ocala, Florida. This is a commercial property. Beautiful, beautiful 5,725 square foot building, currently operating as a thriving hardware store in Ocala, Florida. And you got multiple income streams here as well coming in. Seller financing available with a strong down payment, 5,725 square feet, almost an acre of land. The owner's got a cash cow here, y'all. He's got an office in there, bathrooms, small kitchen. And, of course, it's set up as a hardware store, but he's also renting out the back. He's got semi-trucks that he's allowing to be rented in space there. He's got a motorcycle shop and a couple others there as well. Maricamp Road, Ocala, 9594 Southeast Maricamp Road, Ocala. 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our commercial listings. We do list vacant land, residential, commercial properties. This one is a currently operating commercial property operating as a chiropractor office. Shout out to Dr. Paul and Vicky over there. 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. 2337 square feet, 1 acre of land, just over an acre. You are ADA compliant with your entrance ramp, bathroom, over a dozen paid parking spaces, and more. Newer roof installed as well in 2020. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to our veterans out there. My dad was in the military, lots of family members. I'm sure you gentlemen have family members as well and folks associated with the veterans. So shout out to all of our veterans out there. Hat tip to you over the radio there. All right, we got Greg and Steven joining us from Fast of Florida, fastoflorida.com. Welcome in, gentlemen.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with a little bit. By the way, we're talking about plumbing, electrical, AC, and appliance repair. I love the idea of combining services. I mean, it makes so much sense, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we, as Fast of Florida, we've been in business since 1972. We are owned by a company called Southern Home Services, and the whole idea is one call, one company.
Yeah.
The idea is if we're out there, you do not have to make multiple phone calls, and you can go through one company, and we have all the trades there. So it's really a one-stop shop to kind of make that a customer experience that much smoother.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And when you look at, like you said, minimize, because I'm thinking to myself right now, I've been dealing with solar this week. I had, so that's time. I got to take off work, go meet go to the gate code, make sure the gate code's there, all those things. So you're streamlining this plumbing, electrical, AC. And I love the fact that you have this, some call it a VIP program. It's a home comfort club membership. Definitely a smart thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for the customer, again, you're all busy. You obviously want to minimize your costs as much as possible. So the idea of taking care of your equipment, whether it's the plumbing, the HVAC, the electrical, and maintaining it is going to cost you a lot more. It's going to save you a lot more money in the future. So we have a home comfort club option, but basically it gives you, for $200 a year, you get 2 HVAC maintenance calls, you get a plumbing maintenance and electrical maintenance call. So you get 4 calls a year.
Wow.
You do not pay any diagnostic fee. You get 20% off of all services as well. So really, when you kind of break it all down, you get preferential treatment 365 days a year, 24/7 service, and then you get all those coverages. So what we're doing is prolonging your equipment so that we save you money in the long run.
Yeah, I love that idea.
You gotta know the customer loves it. They they call up all the time, making sure that they're renewed, so we can get out there for them.
Yeah, because I've had it happen with. I had 2 family members where it happened back to back. To get that dreaded call, the HVAC, you already know where I'm going with it, right?
100%.
The HVAC system's up top, so the pan overflows. Now it's coming through the ceiling tiles. So not only are you having to repair the AC unit, but now you've got all this ceiling tile. And my mom had this fancy stuff where you put on top, like a I don't know what it is, like a peel and stick, but it looked metal.
Correct.
It had like that metal look, right? So you talk about that, it's a big headache.
It is. We primarily do a lot of our business in the condos. So about what kind of rolling ball effect you have there once you have a water leak.
Yeah.
Well, now you're affecting everybody else in the building. So it's very important of keeping those systems maintained. And I think we all know 99% of these failures happen at the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
Always when you have the family over for 4th of July. It's never in the wintertime when you don't need your air conditioning.
Right.
It's going to happen at the worst time when it's going to cost you the most money and the company's going to be that much more busy. So
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Gregg and Steven here from fastoflorida.com, fastoflorida.com. All of your plumbing, electrical, AC, appliance repair needs. Please support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. That's the idea behind this show. 11 years, almost 12 years now. Will you believe it? In August, 12 years. And shout out to the production team, by the way. Dave was just showing me some of the stats on our subscriptions on social media. Man, the subscriptions are through the roof. People are really liking our short videos that we're putting out. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel out there, Rumble channel. We've got our podcast as well, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on all the socials, at CQB Show as well. So we're talking with Gregg and Steven here, Fast of Florida. You've seen their trucks out there. I know I've seen lots of trucks and vans on the road. I love the idea of where our country's heading now. I see, you see a lot of stuff in the news about the tariffs, right? You got the tariffs and what are they going to do? How are they affecting? But just what a master class that we've seen put on by the president lately with the pause of 90 days. He says, okay, now everybody's coming back to the table. Over 100 plus countries coming saying, hey, we want to negotiate first. Look, can we negotiate? Yeah, we want to negotiate. And, kind of isolated China. So I love that. But the other things that are happening, domestically, Charlie Kirk went on a podcast with Newsom out in California, and it was very interesting because the trades were brought up and the 4-year college education. And for those that know Charlie, he's one of the best. I mean, I love that guy. What a prodigy! What a astute young man he is. But when he interviewed Gavin, it was brought up about college education versus going into the trades. And he also wrote the book called The College Scam, because we've all seen what's happened with Harvard and some of these schools. Sure. So anyways, that's a setup for this clip here.
This has been a point of pride for you that you didn't do a 4-year degree. And
because I represent most of the country. You guys have become so college credentialed and educated that you guys snobbishly look on the muscular class of this country. The people that kept things afloat and running during COVID. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the country didn't go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Caltech, or Cal Berkeley, right?
Are you arguing for the disestablishment, the end of higher education?
I think it's going to happen no matter what. Am I advocating for the end of the pursuit of learning? Of course not. That's what
I'm going to pause there because that's such a great point, right? Yeah. Just because you don't go to a 4-year school and you don't spend all this money and go into debt and take a degree that's really not applicable doesn't mean that you're not learning. Some people love podcasts. They love to get on videos. They love courses at home, trade schools. There's lots of things you wanted to.
Yeah, what's interesting is about 30 years ago, I was in the financial field, so I was a white collar worker.
Yeah,
and I got into the trades, into the service industry, and even though I'm the general manager, and I don't go out and do the work, I would never go back to that kind of job. I love the service industry. I love the people, the technicians. It's a hard day's work, but you're earning the money. It's a well day's earned money. We do a tremendous amount of training for them. Back in our headquarters in Maitland, Florida, we have training programs for lead technicians for our salespeople. So you don't have to go to college in order to make a great living. They're making great livings.
Exactly.
And like I said, it's a real day's pay, and at the end of the day, they're happy. And
it's something to be respected too.
Yeah,
I mean to be respected like that.
Yeah, they're working on people's homes. They're making them comfortable. We tell them that they should appreciate what they do for a living.
Yeah, it's a necessity. You talk about these businesses that were shut down, and that's a whole nother topic, right? Churches, no, but strip clubs and liquor stores, how that all went down.
Yeah.
But I think for the mindset of the 70s and 80s, it really turned into going to go, it's where are you going to go, right? So instead of trades, and tell me about your journey as well.
So I for all intents and purposes I was somewhat born into it. My father got out of the Navy and he got into the HVAC field right off the bat, and he owned a company for about 30 years, commercial mainly, with a fabrication shop as well. So I started for the first 14-15 years of my life doing that, and then I got into the corporate world. But I think one of the main things I've always focused on is the fact that in the trades, it's never going to go anywhere.
Right.
I mean, there's not many jobs that are out there that have that kind of staying power, that robots aren't going to come into your house and install ductwork, or going to come in there and fix your water heater or whatever it's going to be.
That's right.
And you're also working on people's most prized possession.
Yes.
Right? So there is that sense of pride in taking care of the customer, that this is what they worked their entire life for. They don't have anything else that's probably more expensive.
That's right.
And now it's their comfort, their health, warmth in the wintertime, the cooling in the summer, making sure they have showers, they can stay clean, they can eat. So that stuff, it is a sense of pride at the end of the day that I got out of it for many years, but now I'm back.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine myself going the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I grew up working with my dad out in the field, cutting grass, changing locks. We worked for preservation companies, so I've done almost anything that you can think of outdoors like that. Started off at $2 an hour, by the way.
Right.
They paid as well.
At 41, I don't think I hit that low. I think it was maybe around $6.57, I think was the lowest I ever got, but thankfully.
Well, that was a dad paying his 14-year-old.
Yeah, right. He wasn't going by the law.
Yeah, and for lunch you got some bag of chips, maybe some tater logs from the handy store with some maybe some. He used to love those livers or whatever, chicken livers or something. They'd sell them at some of the fast food stores. I'm like, no, let's get a burger or something. But if you just joined us, hey, we're talking with Gregg and Steven over at fastofflorida.com. Fastofflorida.com. All of your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, appliance repair. And, definitely check out their website. Support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got more on this clip, by the way. I just paused it in the middle.
Big critiques is that at a lot of these schools, they're not pursuing what is good, true, and beautiful. It's become the Oppression Olympics and a weaponized complaint seminar of people sitting in the circle and finding out who's been offended the most that day.
Some would argue $1 million more in lifetime earnings, more likely to get married, less likely to get divorced, more likely to be civically engaged with college degrees. And you would say
all of those is true. It's just not everyone that goes to college graduates. The national graduation rate,
41% drop.
Yeah, 41% dropout. Exactly right. The numbers are true at the highest income. So about 10% of kids that go to college stretch out the averages to be really, really high. You go to Cal to go study North African lesbian poetry,
is that an actual degree there?
You tell me, Glenn.
I don't know. We funded, but I'm not sure that's one of the courses.
See, the fact you don't know, it should be like, no way. But if the fact it's a maybe, we got some problems.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? I mean, he's such a great debater, and Charlie Kirk does a great job. Yeah, and what was the other takeaway, too, from that, Dave? Yeah, it was just hilarious. So you're laughing the whole time, but good, true, and beautiful, right? You're going and you're studying things that are good, true, and beautiful. And that's so different from a lot of the universities today.
Yeah, I think the whole concept of college being a place to just find yourself is really not a great idea as a whole.
Right.
Like, I think if you're going in and, hey, I want to be a doctor. Hey, I want to be a lawyer. I want to do this. Hey, college is the place for you. But if you have no idea what you want to do, there's different ways to go about it at this day and age. There are a lot of other opportunities that are out there, maybe. And hey, you still can go to college if you get into something in 2 years and maybe find out in the working field it's not for you.
Yeah.
But I think that shift has happened, like he was saying in that interview, that we're seeing the shift from traditional education moving away from it and people actually looking at other options. Now you get, Twitch streamers and YouTubers that are making more money than we can even think about, which
unbelievable.
If you had asked about 20 years ago, you would have laughed them out of the room and say it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So here we are now.
Exactly.
And I'll be paying my daughters and sons college education until I'm 95 years old.
I know, right?
Yeah, and that's you see these guys
take a second mortgage on it.
I don't want to be a Fast of Florida when I'm at 95. But for some reason, I will be there at this point.
It's a crippling debt that you're punished with to better yourself, which is, that's pretty much the way it goes for most things. But unfortunately, a lot of these guys and girls can never get themselves out of it, and then it goes the wrong way. So
right, yeah, then they default on their debt.
Correct.
Those things. But yeah, like you said too, it's if you're going to be an engineer, you're going to be something that requires that, and then you maybe even have to go. Like my daughter's studying law, or pre-law. So I said, for a long time she was on the medical kick, and I said, I'm not sure if you're going to like being in those stuffy hospitals and that whole bureaucracy that you find in those hospitals and those situations. And nothing wrong with that. Of course, I love all of our doctors and nurses and everybody out there working hard for us. But when you think about, I told her, I said, look, get into law. You're going to make money when the economy's good. When the economy's bad, these attorneys, they're always going to find a way to make money.
Yep, absolutely.
And lots of specializations you can get into.
You can do your real estate closings.
I know, right? Yeah. All right, quick break. Right back. More with Gregg and Steven from fastofflorida.com. Fastofflorida.com. Hey, we got to get into this. We've been teasing this best musical artist from Florida. Find out who is from Florida, maybe who your favorite is. There's some really good names on this list. What are the initials? LS, you got TP, you got BB, and some really good ones here coming up. So best musical artists from Florida coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, who are your top 10 best musical artists from Florida? Think about that. Start thinking about that and talk it over. We'll go through that here in just a minute. More with our expert contributors coming up as well. We got the folks from Fast of Florida in studio, fastofflorida.com with us. Before we do, a couple of hot listings, and we're going to go right to this list. We've got a hot listing here at 1758 Winfield Circle, Clearwater. Beautiful single-family home, completely remodeled, 2,700 plus square feet, 0.36 acre lot, 532, large home, split floor plan. Beautiful kitchen with an island there, stainless steel appliances, lighter colors, pool in the back, fenced-in pool. 1758 Winfield Circle, Clearwater, Florida. Another one of our beautiful listings. We've got about 50 current real estate listings here in Tampa Bay. Vacant land, residential, commercial properties, buying, selling, investing. Reach out to the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. South Taylor Road, we got some land for sale. Buy some dirt out in Seffner, Florida. Build some duplexes, 2.5 acres out there. Zoned RDC 6. And you can build duplexes. Great opportunity to buy and invest in Florida real estate. One of the best investments you can find.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
All right, we are talking with Gregg and Steven from Fast of Florida. So we'll have a little fun here. We like to mix it up, do some top 10s. Last week we did top 10 celebrities in Florida and things like that. But we thought we would do best musical artists from Florida, top 10. You guys know any artists that you think might be on the list from Florida?
Tom Petty.
Well, I did. I just learned this now, actually. I mean, truthfully, moved down here a few years ago, so I didn't know many, but it would be out of probably that list, Tom Petty.
Tom Petty's in there.
Yep.
You ever hear of the Bellamy Brothers?
I did now. Yeah,
they're pretty good. That's like an old school country / they're up in Dade City, so they got a road named after them.
Oh, gotcha. I recognize the name for sure.
They actually weren't on the list. I added it, but so number one is Leonard Skinner.
I guess it's kind of hard to beat that, right?
Classic rock there, man.
One of the best.
Tom Petty was number 2. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, number 3. Ray Charles, old Ray Charles.
Really? You're kidding.
Yeah, didn't realize that. He was born in Albany, but raised in Greenfield, Florida.
He was born in Albany, New York?
Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
Albany, Georgia. Yeah, that's where he's got the Georgia on his mind.
Yes.
Yep. And then the Allman Brothers. Got the Allman Brothers.
No way.
Wow.
They're from Jacksonville. Ronnie Van Zant. He was one of the head lead singers from Leonard Skinner. Jim Morrison.
What?
Wow.
Jim Morrison, born in Melbourne, the enigmatic frontman for the Doors, was known charismatic on stage. All right, Matchbox 20. Remember Matchbox 20? What was that, Tom?
Little Rob Thomas.
Morrison went to St. Pete High.
St. Pete High. I didn't know that. Wow, interesting. Matchbox 20. So they had some pretty good hits back in the 90s. 3 a.m., Feeling Lonely. Creed, hailing from Tallahassee. Let's see, who else is on there? Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah, that's
T-Pain, Shine Down, KC and the Sunshine Band, Gloria Estefan. I don't even know this guy. It's something about Tenacion. I don't know that one. That rounds it out pretty much. Ariana Grande is also on that list.
Pretty big, too.
I think I heard of her before.
Yeah. Is that another Disney one? Is that one of the Disney people?
Yes, she was.
They pumped out a lot of those.
They did.
They sure did.
All right, let's go back into the real estate talk. What are some of the top consumer tips that you see? What are some of the issues that keep recurring that maybe we could talk about and help some people?
Greg, you're best with that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the number one thing you've all probably had, your drain clogged, right?
Yeah.
It's like my T-stat's blank. I need a customer. The AC is not working because your drain. There's a lot of different methods that you have to keep that drain clean. And number one is preventative maintenance. It's the same thing as your vehicle, right?
Yeah.
If you don't maintain your vehicle, eventually you're going to have breakdowns. You have to do regular servicing on your air conditioning. Same thing goes with your plumbing. And you got to make sure that your electrical is up to snuff.
Yeah.
Because what you see is a lot of stuff in these condos or houses that are maybe from 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Right.
They've upgraded some things, but they've kind of left a lot of things behind. So there's potential dangers out there. And if you want to kind of make sure that your house is safe and you want to make sure that you're going to keep your wallet as fat as possible, preventative maintenance.
Right.
Make sure you have a reputable company, whether it's Fast to Florida or another company that's, a great company that's out there. And make sure that you have people that are going in that are quality skill technicians and making sure they're checking your whole home out.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Maintaining, and when you think about, we put so much effort into, eating healthy, and then, we look at our water. We've got our water quality expert, Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us, that comes on the show and talks about all the pharmaceuticals in the water, microplastics, things like that. But there's also a big deal called air quality, right?
Massive. I mean, it's probably in Florida and anywhere else I've ever been, and I've been a lot of places in the United States, that it's one of the most important for your indoor air quality, or IAQ as they call it.
Yeah.
It's really a lot of times your ultraviolet lights, your deodorizers, your electrostatic filters, things like that. Years ago, people thought they were a gimmick. They're absolutely not a gimmick. We live in a world that's dark, has a lot of dark, moist places that builds bacterial growth. We don't use the M word. It's bacterial growth because I'm not an expert.
Right.
And if you're any person that lives inside your home, you know that home air is so much more polluted than the exterior air. It's not even on the comparison.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's crazy. From all the toxins that are coming from down to the veneer on your floor, to the wall, to the paint, to the metals in your house.
Yep.
And then people have any kind of allergies, right? They don't realize once you do a little bit of tweaking how much that peace of mind and how much that quality of life changes.
Right.
So yes, it is an initial cost, but it's not snake oil per se. It's a proven working, correction for your indoor air quality. 100%.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. No, hey, great tips there, Greg and Steven. Fast of Florida, fastofflorida.com. Reach out to the show hotline. You can text or call the hotline, 813-917-1894. We'd love to put you in touch with fastoffflorida.com. And also sign up for that Home Comfort Club membership. That's going to get you all the benefits of being a member. And I'm going to definitely be signing up for that too, because I know it's one of the things I'm kind of running through my mind sometimes, like, hey, it's been a while. I got a unit upstairs. I got a unit in the garage. I got to have these things checked out.
Absolutely.
So make sure you're getting that signed up for that. 813-917-1894. And for a couple $100 a year, you have that peace of mind and that coverage in place. Plumbing, electrical, AC, and appliance. fastoflorida.com. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us
so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, another musical artist. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.